So I want to talk about why men hate when women talk about women's singleness and why they should embrace it. So I had a comment yesterday by someone where they posted on why how I became more content being single and how I changed my life. And I thought it was very interesting because what he said was, "Oh my god, this is the Get the Dog channel." And he went on to say, "Well, you should get a haircut and then go to the gym." Okay. And so I had some thoughts about it. I had to sit back and really pay attention to what he said because I thought it was very interesting. And I had feelings about it. I could have right away defended myself and said, "Hey, like, did you even watch the video to see what my transformation was and how I do boxing like 2, 3 times a week and do salsa dancing and all this stuff?" But you know what I said? There was a part of me in my mind that reminded me that, Nikia, you had so many other comments that were positive, and the one negative comment you get, you're like, "Oh my god, like I need to go and defend myself." Blah 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 blah. And so my old self, I would have automatically would have been like, baby, like we're not doing this today. And I would have get in the comments and become like a little keyboard warrior and all that stuff. But I had to take a step back and be like, who is this person with no photo? And basically they're trolling. But I wanted to talk about some key things here. Is that, first of all, why do they think that why do men think that when they see a single based video where a woman's talking about their transformation, they automatically say, "Well, get a cat." In his case, he said get a dog, but anyways, you get the point. And I'm like, who is getting? And I'm like, why do they think that getting a dog is an insult? Like, I've always had that question. Because if a relationship isn't for you, right? No one's looking at getting an animal, a cat or dog, and saying, "Oh well, I guess I have to get a cat and dog and settle for it, and I guess that's the end of it. That's the end of me, and that's my end of my singleness." Like, I don't know who came up with that and thought that it was an insult, because it's not an insult to get an animal that probably wouldn't hurt you and probably wouldn't hurt you and do half of the stuff that men tend to do. I'm not saying all men are like this, but half of the things that men tend to do, animals don't do, right? They don't do a lot of things that men do, right? And they have to realize that if anything, people enjoy people enjoy life. There's people who enjoy life. People enjoy life more without a man, especially if they're adding more stress to your life than when they're in it, especially if it's the wrong person. So I don't see why they would think that having a cat means that, like, it means that it's the end of the world for us. It's really not. Like, if it meant that I have no stress and it meant that I'm no longer feeling like I have to pick up after someone and feel all lonely, I don't see why someone would feel like having a cat is like the end of this world. It's not the end of the world for us if it means no stress and we can live our best lives. And then another thing is, I love how when you share transformations and a man here is like, "Oh, okay, like I'm learning to live my best life and I'm learning to be really comfortable with me as an individual." Why is it all of a sudden the men start coming out and being like, "Oh," like they do a snicker and be like, "Oh yeah, right, like you're not gonna last," and blah blah. Like, why is it that when you have a transformation, that all of a sudden the men start coming up in a live and like they feel some type of way? Why? It makes you think, like, why do they feel some type of way when a woman expresses being single and expresses joy in life and makes changes in their life? Like, why do they feel so offended? It's like they justify their reasoning as well as like, well, if she does this and if she hadn't done the video, like if she hadn't done the video, like it would have been a step closer to getting a man. Like, I don't understand it. Like, it's like a scarcity mindset. It's like It's like they try to attack my weight, right? Usually they'll try to attack my weight and they'd be like, oh, you should do this, even though they don't know my journey in terms of actively. But I find it very interesting because it's like they tell you as a jab to be like, well, you should change your body this way. Like if becoming skinny is going to change the outlook of how you're seeing yourself, the new way you're seeing yourself. I find that very interesting when a man sees that you're trying to make transformation and you're trying to change and you're starting to embrace your new you and you're trying to love yourself more and automatically attack your weight, like if that's going to justify your decisions that you've made for yourself. And by the way, you should be happy in every single area of your life, anyways. Whether you are bigger, whether you're smaller, whether you're medium, whatever, you're black, blue, green. You should be embracing yourself at every size. Anyways, so I don't understand when a guy is like, well, you should do more of this. Like, if we're saying that we're in lack of a man, like, a man loves different types of women, all different types of women. There's no one type. So I don't understand when a guy tries to like take jobs in that exact area. I thought that was very interesting. And it's like when they see a woman embracing their singleness or embracing themselves and they're starting to enjoy who they are, it's like they automatically think that a decision where they're choosing to the center man and enjoy their life has something to do with them. Like it has nothing to do with them. And more so to do with that person individually. Like we don't always have to center our lives around men. And we've spent too long centering our lives around men. You should be centering around your own life and let life happen the way it happens. Like, it's funny because I was saying this to a friend the other day and I was like, I don't ever meet men, like especially really good guy friends, and I don't ever hear them say, "Oh, I'm just waiting for the right person." Like sitting around waiting for the right person in their house. But I would usually speak to some women, and it's nothing against that. But I would speak to some women where there would be like, you usually hear women say, "Yeah, I'm waiting for the right one," especially in the Christian community. If you're a Christian, oh my God, the main goal is to get married. And usually it'd be women say, "Oh, I'm just waiting around." And usually those women are the ones that doesn't do anything. They stay in the house and they're just waiting around for Prince Charming and that's it. But you don't hear a man centering their life around a woman. You'll see the man going to the gym. They'll be doing things that they enjoy. Like they're enjoying life. They're going out with their friends. I think it's very interesting. And so for some reason, it's like men have gotten so used to us centering them and making them be in our like learning to change our like how do I say change our world according to their world. And so as soon as they see a woman saying, God forbid, hey, like I'm gonna focus on me now. I'm gonna be childless. I'm not gonna be with anyone. Like I'm just gonna focus on me. Automatically it's like a trend. They see a video like that, and instead of them being very happy for you, it's like they're like, oh no, like this shouldn't be happen. Like I need to tell her to change. I need to tell her that you're crazy. You need to go get cats and dogs. Why? Why do they do that? You ever wonder, like, why do they do that? A man should be very supportive of a woman when they're making changes. And if they're not, I find that it's a red flag. It's a red flag. And if anything, why wouldn't a man want to embrace a woman learning to be very comfortable with themselves, learning to do hobbies and learning to just focus on themselves and making friends and traveling and doing all the good things out there that's meant to be done? Why 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 wouldn't a man be happy about that? Because if anything, it benefits them. If a woman is more confident in who she is and she embraces who she is, he benefits more because now she's confident in herself. She's secure. She's not insecure. She's not clingy, right? Like she's not depending on him to make her happy to fill that void. Like she is whole by herself. So it just makes you think like what's really the threat here when a guy sees a woman trying to better herself, and it almost makes me feel like they love the manipulation. They love when a woman's weaker. They love when a woman depends on them, and for the wrong reasons. Nothing wrong with feeling safe with a man. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying it makes me wonder why a man gets so threatened when a woman all of a sudden finds her groove. And because if anything, they should be inspired by that, right? Like the woman's more confident. But it makes me think that they like when women feel weak. And they like when women feel like they don't know themselves. And they just do everything they say and they just let them do anything they want, and we have no boundaries and we have no say in like what we're gonna accept and what we don't accept. That is very scary. When I see a guy commenting on some other woman's post and she's like, yeah, I'm embracing being childless, you need to look at those comments next time. It's scary when you see the comments, well, you're not contributing to society. How am I not contributing to society because it's my body and I decide not to have babies? Like, why does it have to be a negative thing? Why does it have to be a negative thing when a woman starts to speak out and want to embrace themselves? Like, there's other women out there that want relationship. There's women out there that want relationship. But all of a sudden, when a woman decides to heal, wants to focus on healing, and wants to focus on not being in that hurt like vibe, you know what I mean? That hurt state. Like, why can that not be okay? Why does it have to be like, why does it have to be looked at as a bad thing? Like there's some scarcity happening. There's no scarcity. It's so beneficial when a woman is just confident in who she is and she continues to just grow and embrace herself. I feel 10 times better than I did years ago because I know myself more. I embrace myself more. I've embraced my body the way it is. And yes, I'm working on myself. Of course, I'm working on myself. I'm eating better. You know, I'm exercising. But like, why does it always have to come down to when a man sees a woman trying to embrace herself? Oh, like you have to do this. And you know, the guy went as far as saying like, oh, you need to go to the salon and cut your hair. Why am I going to cut my hair? Why am I going to cut my hair? Like, this is crazy. Like, I love my curly hair, but I wanted to just talk about that. It's like they need to embrace it more, and they should want to embrace women living their best lives. And I believe it's a reflection of them, and usually something about that guy is very unhappy. Do you know how many guys, I'm just thinking about this now, is that usually on a dating app, how many guys would get mad when you would tell them, no, I'm not looking for anything. I'm not, in terms of like, I'm not looking to do for that one thing that you're talking about. And you know how many guys would get mad and they'll say, well, you don't like that one thing. You know what I'm talking about. And you'd be like, dude, like, what does that have to do with anything? Just because I don't want to give my body to you has nothing to do, has absolutely nothing to do with me not liking something or liking something. Like, I just don't want to. So, like, there doesn't need to be a justification for a reason. Sorry, there doesn't need to be a. I got a little bit distracted from the comment. Yes, thank you, girl. Thank you, Pink Peony. Appreciate it. But it doesn't need to be like there doesn't need to be a justification of why you don't want to do something. Like there doesn't need to be a justification of your looks and the way you look and how you do things. If you want it to be a certain way, that's that. And you know what the funny thing is that when I would tell a guy, and I have nothing against um workers that are doing their thing, and I'll tell them like, why not go get an escort or something? And they get offended. I'm like, how are you getting offended? They'll be like, no, no. But I'm like, yeah, but if you're meeting someone that has their values and their boundaries, you should respect them. You should respect them. And I think there's just a lack. It just getting that comment yesterday, it just sparked a discussion because it just shows that there's a lack of respect and there's a lack of boundaries for women who want to live their best life. Like there should be nothing. There's nothing wrong with wanting to live your best life, and you should not feel forced in no way, shape, or form to be centering men. Like there's no reason around that. It's okay to want a man. It's okay to want that great guy. But your life should not center around men. Everything you do does not have to be centered around them. I highly believe that. Like you should be your own self. You should be able to do your own hobbies and be social and be happy, go for walks and do things around you. What do you like doing? You're allowed to be selfish here. It doesn't need to be around them. So I just don't get why men are so obsessed with feeling threatened when a woman's like, I enjoy being single and I transform my life. And just because you may not look the way that they think you should look, I don't need to look any other way. You don't need to look any certain way to say I'm embracing singleness. You don't need to look perfect. This is not about being perfect. It's about doing what's best for you and what makes you feel good. That is it. Anyways, signing off now.